You're tuned in to Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk, live every weekday on the Nation Network YouTube.
The Oilers are on the road looking for a second straight win. We have Crosby versus McDavid, and we have a brand new list of trade targets from Frank Saravalli. We're breaking it all down with the lead. Am I that predictable? I really am, man.
But we need consistency, and it's great. So I just wanted to play into it. I was actually celebrating the lead.
Welcome into Oilers Nation every day. We are streaming to you live from the Sports Closet studio. Sportscloset.ca is where you can check out what they have in stock. And guess what? They have a lot in stock, like Nation Gear lids, like reverse retro gear. Sportscloset.ca. All right. We're live, Nation Network YouTube. People are already fired up. We are already getting close to 100 people in the chat. It is
Game day.
It is deadline season.
Deadline season. Kool-Aid season. Carlson season.
And it's a Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of the show. Oilers in Pittsburgh to take on the Penguins. 5 p.m. puck drop night. You have your takes floating around in the Nation Network YouTube chat, and our good friend the Canadad is in with the first comment. Says, what's the plan now that Ekholm probably isn't happening? Is there another D that's a good fit? Are we back in on Chychrun if his price drops at the deadline? I know you guys are going to have a ton of trade-related questions in the chat. As far as the Ekholm thing, a little disappointing yesterday to hear Frank Saravalli kind of say that it doesn't sound like Nashville's going to retain money on it. So...
But the right offer has to be made. Anything is possible.
To an extent, sure.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, I was really into the idea of potentially giving up more to get Ekholm at maybe $2 million or $1.5 million retained so it could work this year. But again, it feels like one of those things that might be a little tough to pull off in the next 8 days. Maybe the Oilers have to check down a little bit. We're going to talk about all sorts of trade-related stuff coming up in the second part of today's show.
Keep me on the rails because I was going to go into big Chychrun.
I know you were. But we'll chat about tonight's game a little bit first because it is a Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day. Edmonton taking on a Pittsburgh team that, quite honestly, is kind of struggling a little bit right now. Take a look. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. They've lost 3 in a row. Granted, they've had 3 days off now in a row, I believe. I don't think they've played since Sunday on the year as a whole. They've been largely average, worse than the Oilers in a lot of statistical categories. It's a matchup that's winnable if you're Edmonton, but this is a Pittsburgh team that's going to be playing very hungry. And part of what kind of makes me nervous about this matchup a little bit is the Oilers have been going up against teams that really don't have a lot of reason to be hungry or playing desperate. Philly, Detroit, I guess, does because they're suddenly right back in the playoff race. But the Oilers have struggled against bottom feeders. And now today you're playing a team that for their final 26 games of the regular season is going to be fighting for their playoff lives. I haven't seen a level of desperation from the Oilers in a couple of weeks now, basically since they came back from the All-Star break. I'm nervous they won't be able to match the desperation and the energy of the Penguins tonight. Fair?
Well, also, Pittsburgh's on a losing streak, and we love ending streaks, right? So, things are not shaping up really nice. We're able to pull off a win against Philly. I guess gutsy in the third, but, really didn't deserve in the first and second to win that game, but figured it out. So, maybe we're trending in the right direction, but you're right. We have a hungry team that has been losing, so looking to get off the schneid. So, they've got a little bit more, I guess, not reason to win, but just some will to win. So they're not going to be easy.
Yep.
That's the thing, right? So we got to go into Pittsburgh, and we can't do what we did in the first 2 periods against Philly, lesser competition,
much less
against the Sid Show.
Some interesting waiver news today. Maybe it's actually not that interesting, but Seattle put goaltender Chris Driedger on waivers. He's been sitting the entire season. He banged up his knee. I think it was like an ACL thing at the World Championships last year. They have Martin Jones and Philip Grubauer. This is probably just a sign that Driedger's getting ready to play games. They want him down in the AHL. The only thing I could see in this that's potentially trade-related is that they have him on the injured reserve right now, not long-term IR. So maybe they want some cap flexibility by getting the extra 1.2 down there. But even that wouldn't make a ton of sense. You could just LTIR him if you wanted the cap flexibility. So probably nothing there for everyone wondering about that. Back to the task at hand, which is tonight's game. It is Crosby versus McDavid, and a game that I want to really enjoy these because Crosby's in year 18. They only play a max of twice a season in the regular season. We might only get 5-6 more of these.
Maybe. It's true. But like in the same breath, Crosby's like on pace to get like 100 points or something this season. Like he's still performing. And if
he's almost caught Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in points.
How dare you? I love the Nuge, but how dare you?
I know. It's still funny. But yeah, Crosby's still having a great year. He probably is going to hit the 100-point mark. He slowed down a little bit in this middle stretch of the season, but you would imagine that Crosby's just going to pick up at some point and go on some Sidney-esque run.
Well, and it's Sidney Crosby's still Sidney Crosby, and he's matching up against the greatest player in the world, and Sidney Crosby had that title.
Yeah.
So like those things like get the juices going in a guy like that who's a gamer.
Yeah, I shouldn't even really say he slowed down. That was probably unfair. He had his really long point. He had his really long point streak snapped, and then he kind of picked it right back up. He's got 6 points in his last 5 games coming into today, playing north of 20 minutes in a lot of these games. Like, it's still vintage Sidney Crosby. Aaron, can we go back to that head-to-head there between Crosby and McDavid? Just taking a look. These are the last 5 seasons. McDavid has really outproduced Crosby in these head-to-heads, as you would kind of imagine. And Edmonton's actually won 4 of their last 7 meetings. So it's something they've done, a matchup at least they've done pretty well in. McDavid's gotten the better of number 87. So hopefully they can keep that rolling tonight. McDavid, last time out, willed the Oilers to victory in the third period. And I'd love to see a situation where he doesn't need to will the Oilers to victory. But again, kind of the theater of it all.
It's nice to have when you need it, but like, we've needed it like every game in the last like 5.
Yeah, and
so,
that's
like, it's not sustainable.
Like, you're not going to get 9 shots and 3 points from Connor McDavid every game, and you can't play him 26 minutes every game either. But my point was, with the stage being what it is tonight, I would like to see McDavid go off against Sidney Crosby and have one of those moments.
To the same point about Sidney Crosby showing up for this game, Connor, like it's best on best, right? Yeah. This is what he wants. And this is where, he thrives. Like, I know Pittsburgh's probably not the best team that he's scored against, in the portfolio of teams he's played against, which is the entire league. But once again, that head-to-head, Connor's showing up.
Mm-hmm. Another piece of waiver news, the Habs claimed Chris Tierney off waivers, so nothing major again happening on the waiver wire. It's always interesting because sometimes there can be little nuggets as to what's going to happen throughout the day.
Signals.
Yeah, little signals. The Oilers tonight in Pittsburgh, this from our friend Bob Stauffer, who we should almost call it. You missed it yesterday. Everyone was loving Bob because of what he said at the intermission of the last game. Were you at the game or were you watching on TV?
I was watching it.
So you listened to what Bob said.
Yeah, he's trying to get the public opinion behind him to be the next GM.
He might be. I think we should find a way to rename the chat after Bob Stauffer. The Bob Stauffer Memorial chat line? No way, he's not. No, never mind. I take that back. Anyways, people are loving Bob. Bob's given us the lines for tonight and from the skate today. Draisaitl, McDavid together with Derek Ryan on the right side. Boy, the Oilers could use some help on the right side. Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins, Yamamoto, Fogle, McLeod, and Puljujarvi, Kostin, Shore, Janmark.
Kostin's back.
Kleem could be back. We don't know for sure if he's back, but he could be back. I would imagine the Oilers are going to roll 11-7 again tonight, Jay.
Which one? We winning.
Yeah, but what forward do you take out?
Well, geez. I was going to say Shore because that's just what my muscle memory would suggest, but
he played good. He was one of their...
I know. I just and he took one in the face at the right time. That's a good team player. He's a bleeder. Yeah, thank you for your thin skin, Devin Shore. Who do you take out? I guess. I hope Kleem is back to health because you want Kleem in there. So it's either Janmark or Puljujarvi.
Yeah, I could see them sitting Puljujarvi in that. I would sit Janmark if it was my call. I think he's kind of slowed down a little bit, and you don't miss out on that much if you sit him for a game. If Kleem's back, I would swap out Janmark. I wouldn't go 11-7. I know you guys like to say in the chat that I hate Vinny Desharnais. I don't hate Vinny Desharnais. I think they should keep him in the lineup in this instance.
We win when he's in.
Yeah, and I think they're a better team when they're 11-7. The point I was just making yesterday that people, I don't know if they took it the wrong way or if they're just trying to round me up. They might be just trying to round me up. I know how the Nation Network chat usually goes. But they were saying, I basically said, just because Vinny's playing great and when Vinny's in, we win.
Thank you.
Just because that's happening doesn't mean you don't seek out an upgrade on the blue line. Because if you go out get an upgrade on the blue line, Vinny comes out.
Whoa, yeah. Our if people think our blue line is solved, it is far from it.
Yeah.
And if Ken Holland thinks it's solved, oh boy.
Man, all you guys want to talk about in the chat is trade stuff, but it is a Sherwood Ford Giant game day, and I want to keep it on the rails for like just a little bit longer before we really
bounce in and out.
I know, and we kind of have been, but I have all 50 trade targets from Frank, and we're gonna go through all 50 names in the middle part of the show.
Oh, okay.
We're just gonna rattle through, and we're gonna see who's a fit for the Oilers. But tonight, well. Yeah, we'll get to our keys to victory, I guess, a little bit later. But again, Oilers taking on the Penguins, the start of a bit of a road trip here for the Oilers because they have Columbus on Saturday as well. That game on against Columbus, I shouldn't say this, but I will. It feels like a free space on the bingo card, and that almost adds extra emphasis tonight because you don't want to drop these points. You want a chance to extend it to a nice, good three-game winning streak.
Got to win the next 2 games, and that'll move us into a good spot in the standings.
Yeah, right now the Oilers are 4th in the Pacific Division, tied with the Kraken, although Seattle has a game in hand. They're only 1 point back of the LA Kings, which you love to see. Only 3 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights, although they have a game in hand as well. The Calgary Flames took care of business last night against the Arizona Coyotes. They are now 5 points back of the Oilers and really looking like it'll come down to Calgary or Minnesota for that final wild card spot. Minnesota, I guess, is only 3 back of Edmonton with a game in hand. So Edmonton still kind of lumped into that group, as you can see here on the standings board.
We're comfortably a wild card, like in the wild card spot. Comfortable.
For now, yeah. But you need to, like you said, rattle off a few wins here, make up for the fact you left some points on the board over the last couple weeks, and get yourself comfortably in a Pacific Division spot. Well, that's where I'd like them to be.
We play Boston on Monday too, so you win. Like that's a tough team. So like you don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to beat the Bruins.
Yeah, I mean the schedule coming
great. I'll be exciting.
I don't know if you've looked ahead at who they have after Boston. It's not a lot of fun, Jay.
Well, we just went through the fun part of the schedule, and we started good and ended weird.
After Boston, it's Toronto, Winnipeg, Buffalo, Boston again, and then Toronto on
Winnipegger.
Yeah, and then Toronto on the 11th, which is a game we will be at for the Nation Vacation, brought to you by AMA Travel. Heading out to Toronto, still 2 spots left?
Yeah, we still have 2 spots. I don't know, the trip was moving like crazy, but now I guess we're getting closer to the date. It's a little bit tougher. 2 spots left. If you can come join us. It's going to be a good time. Check us out, nationgear.ca. Tyler's going to be there.
Yeah, AMA Travel really hooked us up with this one, too. You fly out. We fly out early Friday morning.
Yep.
We got Friday to hang out in the 6th. You're staying at the Fairmont Royal York. Your ticket on the trip includes your flight and transportation to and from the hotel in Toronto.
Correct.
Saturday night, chill during the day. We'll be doing some Oilers Nation everyday content from there. And then we'll be in a gondola suite at the Scotiabank Center to watch Toronto versus Edmonton Saturday night, hockey night in Canada. Then you wake up on Sunday, sleep in a little. Sunday afternoon, you fly home. Boom. You only need to take like 1 day off work in this equation, and you get to watch the Oilers out of town.
Yeah, no, in Toronto.
It's tough
to get into. So I want to shout out, our friends at AMA for setting us all up and making it a lot easier for us to put together than if we did it ourselves. So, no, looking forward to it. So if you can come join, do it. If you can't, that's okay. Watch us from afar. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and we'll create a lot of content.
The 200 people watching on YouTube, they want us to talk about trades. So
let's go.
Let's dig into what you've all been asking. If you asked a question earlier on in the show about trades, we probably missed it. So fire it in there again so it hops in to the front part. Everyone's asking, though, we're not going to get trades. Liam. Everyone's saying, where's Liam?
I know.
15 minutes without you, and they go nuts, hey?
I know, but I've been here the whole time, right in the chat. So one guy asked how I was. I'm well, thanks, Dylan. Mm-hmm. Thanks for asking.
You had a pizza roll from Bread and Butter?
Very close to not having one, though, because I forgot my wallet today.
I could have spotted you.
Shout out Gavin for giving me enough money to buy. I had to ask the lady, I was like, how much is this?
You made Gavin the intern buy you your lunch?
No, I came in and some Aaron asked, how you doing? I was like, I'm starving and I forgot my wallet. And Gavin said, here's $10.
Wow.
So I got a coffee and a pizza roll.
Like Gavin gave you your lunch money. That's so nice.
Yep. Gavin saved my cell phone. Saved me $1,000.
He did.
True.
So we are now in debt to Gavin as a collection $1,010.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to have to get on that. Anyways, trade talk. Let's start at the top of Frank Seravalli's trade targets list. We're working our way through all 50.
All right, let's go.
Timo Meier is probably going to the Devils or the Hurricanes. There are rumors that the Sharks will want a premium if they're going to keep him in the Western Conference. Next, Patrick Kane is a guy who the Oilers reportedly have had interest in. Frank Seravalli's brought it up a few times on our show. But the recent news is that the New York Rangers have kind of started sniffing around again.
That was very annoying. So, where are they in the Caps world? Like, do they need to make a move to be able to pull it off?
Yeah, they would probably have to throw something small in that deal to make it work. But they're very close to just being able to straight up do it.
Shit. We know that was because wasn't there already kind of a deal in place? Well, Kane early on that kind of fell through, and then they pulled the Tarasenko trigger.
No, Kane hasn't. Kane still to this point, from the reports I've read, hasn't given the Hawks the thumbs up to start negotiating with the team, or like the thumbs up of I will go there. But it sounds like, based on what Frank says, that Kane's going to basically go to the Hawks with one team and one team only. It's at this point, if the Rangers are interested, how would Patrick Kane not be interested? And if you think he's going to choose the Oilers over the Rangers, you're absolutely out to lunch. This feels like it's going to happen. I think they're going to get him. And then you look at what that top 9 could look like in New York.
I did a futures bet on the Rangers in the offseason. Because, wow.
Well, okay, so their top 9, let's go through the hypothetical of the Rangers get Kane. Zibanejad, Kreider, Tarasenko is your top line. Yep. Then you reunite Panarin and Kane on your second line with Vinny Trocheck, who's going to be the defensive conscience. Yeah. Then you have the kid line with Hedl, Lafreniere, and Kakko. Their blue line, Liam, we were looking at it before, is starting to look elite with how those young guys are playing. Oh, and Igor Shesterkin, pretty good.
May have heard of him.
Yeah, he's not bad. Like the Rangers, if they get Kane, will absolutely vault to the top.
See that slap shot he stopped in the shootout? Impressive.
Shesterkin?
Yeah.
Oh, the one on Draisaitl.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it. Like, that's...
Liam, we're early to be talking Betway, but I'm just like Stanley Cup odds. I almost want to bet on the Rangers now because if they get Kane, it's going to be unbelievable.
I mean, that roster is absolutely insane. The only thing that would, even if they get an injury, it's still kind of nuts to be in there, right? So, yeah, I mean, you look at the Eastern Conference and the whole time it's been, you got to beat Tampa Bay. And I still think it probably is until they're beaten. Mm-hmm. But right now it's slowly feeling like it's the Rangers conference to lose.
13-1 to win the Cup, 7-1 to win the conference. The Rangers look very, very good. And there's talk that they could get Patrick Kane. So if they get Patrick Kane, and that was one of the pieces that the Oilers kind of liked in their top 6 or as a top 6 option, where do you check down from there? The rest of the list?
It's happening. It's happening. Everything is happening around us.
Well, nothing's happened yet. Jacob Chychrun is in at 3. He's kind of skating again with the Yotes, but we don't really know. Like, there's nothing going on there.
So, has the price changed on Chychrun? Because now it's just 2 firsts?
It's a first and something equal, yeah.
But wasn't it more before?
At the beginning of the year and in the summer, it would have been 3.
So, like, you could do it for a first and Borgo?
Maybe Borgo. Maybe, yeah. You don't know if they like Borgo, so.
But
surely we have one prospect they would like, right? To kind of fill that void that they would want.
I think
if it's not
so.
High,
and you have them for 2 more years after this. Now, like, and they're willing to retain.
I think for just the 2 assets, they wouldn't retain. You'd have to pay for them to retain.
Yeah, maybe you throw in a third or something. Or
There's term on it.
I know how that works, but like,
I think the idea,
like, if we can't get Ekholm, like Jake McCabe won't come to Edmonton. We know that. Won't come to Canada.
Vlad Gavrikov probably going to be a Bruin right away.
Probably already a Bruin.
I just think...
So, like, what are our options now?
Well, that's why we're going to go through all 50 names and assess who the options could be.
So right now, Chychrun is now back on my target list.
Yeah, I just, again, from everything we've heard, the Oilers aren't interested in him. So it's not worth beating it to death. We've beaten it to death for months.
Because they're more interested in our current blue line?
Tyler Mulick says just send 2 firsts. Yeah, I mean, the other thing is you got to make the money work somehow, right? Mm-hmm. Some people, as Davin points out, are speculating that, hey, the Yotes pulled Chychrun out, said it was for trade-related reasons, but it's because he's hurt. And they don't want people to know he's hurt. They just want him to get better, and then they'll start looking to move him again. The teams that have reportedly been interested are the LA Kings, the Columbus Blue Jackets, which Frank said on the DFO rundown, if Chychrun got traded there, he wouldn't be happy about it. But tough luck, my guy. And Elliot Friedman even threw out the possibility of the Winnipeg Jets, which I think would be a sneaky team to watch in this, or the Ottawa Senators.
Senators are building their team for next year.
They just got rid of Nikita Zaitsev yesterday.
Yeah.
They've now opened up money. So Frank outlined the reason.
DeBrincat re-sign?
No. So they're in the middle of this sale, right?
Yeah.
You would know about this as a business guy. When you're selling an entity.
Intimately, I know about the sale of the Senators, yes.
Yes, but you would know about the process. Like their books are, Frank said, and I'm paraphrasing, but like kind of frozen in the sense that they can't sign DeBrincat because then it would alter the valuation of the franchise and things like that, right? If you're committing like $80 million in payroll, they can't go get Colton Parayko because it would add
a different transaction. But yes, sure.
But that's what Frank outlined.
I know, but I don't agree with it.
But that's the reality of it.
Extending DeBrincat's going to affect the enterprise value of the Senators? No.
But that's what Frank said is happening.
I know. I don't agree with it. That's all.
All right. Well, the idea is the Senators may have been in a spot where they couldn't add significant salary because of the pending sale.
I understand
Chychrun,
though, complications, but this helps the team for the future and actually help. Anyways, yes.
Yeah. But Chychrun is basically Zaitsev's cap hit, more or less, I think. So that is a spot you could.
He was 5.4 or something, right?
Zaitsev was 4 something.
I thought he was 4.6.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, anyways, that's the rest of the top 5 on Frank's board with 3 defensemen in there that, as of right now, don't feel like realistic
options.
options.
We're going through 50?
Yep.
We just got through 5?
That's only 12-22.
Dmitry Orlov, yes.
Yeah, I'm on that one too.
So I got an article coming out today at Oilersnation where it starts right off the bat. Dmitry Orlov would be my guy.
Yeah.
5.1 million. You're gonna have to give up a lot. Like Gavrikov, the ask was a first and another asset, the David Savard kind of deal from a couple years back. Orlov, the ask, I would imagine, is the same, if not more. But if they're going to keep half of this thing, he's down at 2.6 million. You can make that work by sending a contract out somewhere else. Maybe even it's like, hey, you take Jesse Puljujarvi and you keep 25% of Orlov for us. Like that's a way you could maybe make the money work.
I don't think they value Puljujarvi like that, but yeah.
Some team might. I mean, I think there's a reason why he hasn't been put on waivers or anything like that. But Orlov would be my guy. What does he do well? He likes the physical side of the game. He can break up cycles. He's actually pretty good at moving the puck. He's played in a bunch of playoff runs with this Capitals team. He's a UFA at the end of the year, so the concerns about him clogging up the roster for young defensemen to break through next year are not there. Dmitry Orlov is 100% a guy the Edmonton Oilers should be going after.
Yep.
I think in terms of what he'd bring this blue line, he can handle the tough minutes for you. He can take on tough assignments and not get overwhelmed by them. That would help you. He's a left shot.
Okay.
That would help you ease pressure on Darnell Nurse. I like to think Orlov might even be I think he's a good partner for almost everyone on the right side. I think he's a better version of Brett Kulak, which means he could be a better fit with Tyson Barrie. I think he could be that hard-nosed defensive kind of guy who plays well with an Evan Bouchard. I think he's a guy who could even calm down Cody Ceci a little bit. Like he just does so much. I would love to see them go get Dmitry Orlov.
For me as well, the difference between him and Gavrikov is you know what you're kind of getting with Orlov. He's been around for way longer. Like you said, he has all that playoff experience. I'd rather pay that much for that guy than a guy who's never stepped foot in the playoffs before. He's won a Stanley Cup. He's on that roster. Like, why wouldn't you want to pay for that guy? And I agree. Like, kind of just fits the mold of what the Oilers want. And when we spoke to Daniel Nugent-Bowman the other week, he said the Oilers need to find a defenseman that's better than Brett Kulak.
Orlov's better.
And he's better than Brett Kulak. So,
yep, 100%. So Orlov at 6 seems like a fit. The next guy on the list is Ivan Barbashev. And
too expensive.
I think he's going to cost too much. The rumors of they want a high second or a late first for this guy. I like him. I think he's inconsistent, and that, to me, just wipes him off the list. Someone is going to love Ivan Barbashev. Someone's going to overpay for Ivan Barbashev. That means let him do it. Don't get into a bidding war. Yep. Carson Soucy at number 8. I love him. He's my guy. I love him. I think, remember how I said Timo Meier, the Sharks might charge a premium for a team in the West? Seattle is open to moving him because they don't want to lose him for nothing this offseason. I don't think they move him to Edmonton. I think if Edmonton's there going, we'll give you a second and another pick, and some team out east says, we'll just give you a second, I think Seattle would sit there.
He'll be an Oiler next year.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, is maybe it's a summer move, but even then he's a left shot.
Can you wait that long, Tyler?
I can wait.
Okay.
The jersey's made. There's no rush. But I just don't see Soucy here as realistic unless the Kraken stun us. But can you imagine the storyline of they trade Soucy to Edmonton, which again I'd love, and then they have to play him first round of the playoffs? how do you face that music if you're Ron Francis? That's why I don't see it as realistic.
Would you be okay with the Oilers paying a little extra to get him?
No, because I think the market rate for Soucy might be like a second or a high asset that's valued at a second. So if you're going to overpay for that, what are you paying? A first? Okay, just go get Orlov.
And we need to save those first for
That's true. He'd be low on my list. Yeah. Like, how many defensemen? Is 8, but I think we've already spoke about 4 defensemen, right? So it's probably 5th, I guess.
Yeah. Sam Lafferty's next on that list. Apparently, the ask is a second-round pick from some of the reports we've heard. The Oilers have apparently scoffed at a high
Why do
price.
We care? It's a second-round pick.
Well, I think here's what I'll...
Like, if he actually brings value to the bottom 6 and speed to the bottom 6.
Helps on the PK.
Some tenacity to the bottom 6. Like, who cares? Like, that's what... These types of players get valued high at the trade deadline for teams going deep in the playoffs. Like, I don't think the acquisition price is quite crazy.
Think of what Calle Yaremchuk went for last season when it was a second and a third to the Calgary Flames. I think it's probably pretty comparable, but Lafferty has an extra year on that deal.
Oh, for cheap too.
Yeah, for cheap. The reason I think the Oilers might not be super in on it, right, or might not be willing to pay it right now is you want like a first and second round picks are premium assets at the deadline. I'm not saying for the Oilers and their general philosophy right now they should be premium, but at the deadline they are.
Yeah.
So do you want to commit your second to Lafferty now if you think there's maybe a player out there you like better?
Yeah, exactly. But we're going through the list. So like he would be a guy that like if once again we are sitting on our hands and all this stuff's happening around us and he's still there and we have to do something, then pay the second. Who cares?
Yeah.
I think I would pay a second close to the deadline, but I would agree with what Tyler said. I wouldn't do it today.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, he just doesn't get traded.
It seems like we need to make some moves today, though, doesn't it?
We'll see. Erik Karlsson's at number 10. Everybody knows the latest on Karlsson.
Do it.
Yeah, well, we're not going to get into that.
Do it.
Aaron, let's fire up. Can we get...
you'll talk about Carson Soucy for an hour, but we can't talk about the darling of the ball, Erik Karlsson?
Because there's no point. I had someone tweeting me today being like, just because the Weber contract got moved, right? And then the Zaitsev thing happened.
Yeah.
So the Senators, and if we want to do a little Karlsson-like exercise here, the Ottawa Senators got rid of Nikita Zaitsev's contract, traded it to the Chicago Blackhawks. Zaitsev has another year at a $4.5 million cap hit, and real dollars, it's about $5 million between now and the end of last season. It cost them a second and a fourth to make that happen. Okay, and that's for $5 million of real money. To get the Sharks or anyone to keep the money you need for the next 4 years of Erik Karlsson, it's going to be about $20 million. Mm-hmm. So are you giving up the value of 4 seconds and 4 fourths just to get the retention done on Karlsson? Okay, so that right there is like a huge thing because the retention on him is going to cost you the value of 4 second-round picks and whatever. Okay?
Yeah, but you could probably, because once again, picks are an unknown quantity.
Mm-hmm.
So you could probably throw prospects in there and that erodes, a gaggle of picks because it's known quantity.
If San Jose likes your prospects, yeah. I'm just saying like the value of having to eat that money is a lot more substantial 100%. Than I think people realize.
Like ideally you wait and try to do a trade after his bonus is paid on July 1st. So it's much less money that actually needs to be paid out. I get it. But
I know everyone loves him.
We have to focus on this season.
Mm-hmm.
We can't think about next yet.
JCLV, I hope we get Karlsson just to piss off Tyler. Karlsson hater. Not a Karlsson hater. I'm a Karlsson truther. I would love it, but I'm just here to tell you that it's not happening.
I'm with you.
I know.
I don't know if
Tyler said he would buy all of us Karlsson jerseys if it happened.
I heard that too.
I'd wear one every show from now until the playoffs.
Let's buy us all one. It's very thoughtful.
Okay, next up on the list, 11 through 15, is Luke Schenn. Makes sense.
Apparently, there's already a deal in place, isn't there?
There might be. They've sent him back to Vancouver, whatever. Third-round pick, maybe, that kind of thing. He's a guy who, again, I would be aiming higher right now at Orlov. I would be aiming higher at Ekholm.
But that's a depth. Like Schen's not the, I don't, if Schenn was on our team, I wouldn't be upset. But we had better made another defensive move as well.
Would you rather have Luke Schenn or Vincent Desharnais?
Well, Luke Schenn.
I just wanted to throw that out there for the chat.
Why? Because you wanted me to answer it and you want everyone to hate me in the chat?
It's already happening with or without me, Tyler.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I like Luke Shen, but he's almost in the same boat as Lafferty for me, where like if it was deadline day and the Oilers hadn't done anything, I'd go second for Lafferty, third for Shen, and be like, okay, I did something. It wasn't sexy. I'd still be disappointed in that as a deadline.
We need to do something sexy.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
John Klingberg's at number 12. He is bad. He actually has, I think, like only 2 more points than Luke Shen, or 2 less points.
Crappy team, but we don't need him.
Yeah, no, we don't need John Klingberg. Brock Besser's not happening. No reason to discuss that. Frank was asked about Minnesota as a Brock Besser fit. For those of you who may
go back home.
Go back home. Yeah, see what happens there. Matthias Ekholm moved up Frank's list. I love this idea.
Ekholm, Geno. Let's go.
Ekholm and Geno would be awesome. And I talked about, if you could get them to keep 1.5 of Ekholm, then for this year, you only need to get like 5.5, 5.6 out the door to make Ekholm and Geno work. That is Puljujarvi and it's Foegele.
Yeah.
And then Geno can take one of their spots. I said my deal, I think, was 2 firsts and Bourgault to make this happen. 2 firsts, Bourgault, Puljujarvi, then you have a separate deal with Foegele. Would you do that?
2 firsts.
Bourgault and Puljujarvi.
They're retaining.
They're retaining the 1.5 you need.
For 3 years. This year, next year. And
3
the
more
next 2
years.
years.
Next 3 years.
I think so. I really do. And then we can do some depth additions to the bottom 6 as well, because we're letting a Foegele and a Puljujarvi go.
Yeah, Geno would take the one spot,
and then Lafferty.
And then you'd have your second
or Lafferty,
Lafferty.
Like that. And then we've bolstered the bottom 6.
It would. The only way I could see that happening, because again, Frank threw cold water on the idea of the Preds keeping money, but the only way I could see that working is if they loved Bourgault, or potentially they love Broberg, and you could do it for like a first and Broberg kind of thing, because Nashville would sit there and go, hey, we're getting a younger, cheaper version of what we view as the next Ekholm, maybe, right?
They'll never be the same.
I know, but they view him as Broberg can slide in, grow with us. He's going to be cheaper. We're getting another first, all that.
Yeah.
Ian says Ekholm is 32, can't give up 2 firsts. Tyler Mielek says he's just old. He's older, but I think he could age fine. I think you could look at that blue line, actually. Look at a guy like Ryan McDonough, who also aged fine. I know now it's not great, but he aged his 32 through 35 seasons were good. He was a helpful part.
I think care about next 3 years.
I think Ekholm can be a McDonough-esque ad, the way he brought a ton of veteran leadership and value to that Bolts blue line on the way to all those cup finals. I think Ekholm can be that guy. Thurmore says Broberg's untouchable. I think he might be. Yeah.
Sorry, what was the deal? 2 firsts?
Bourgault and Puljujarvi.
Huh.
And then you're going to flip, in my hypothetical Fantasyland world, you're going to flip Foegele for like a 3rd or a 4th, and then you're going to flip a 2nd for another forward.
Just to make all the money work?
Just to make all the money work, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know if I would do that.
You think that's too much? Because you don't like giving up prospects.
No, it's not even that. I think Foegele has actually been fine.
He has been really good.
Lately.
But I'd sacrifice him for Geno and Ekholm.
Lately.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so torn. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's a lot.
I think Geno's a little when Foegele is rolling.
Liam, do I need to tell you the time is now? Do I need to tell you that?
No, time is now. Your time is up. Our time is now.
Then we gotta make deals. Whatever gets the deal done. That's the position we're in.
Yeah.
That's what Florida.
We're gonna do a trade, and we're all gonna be like, "Whoa, we paid too much." But hopefully, it's for someone that helps.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. That's as long as what they're bringing in is a positive asset, and we kind of Geno and Ekholm are both people who could bring positivity to this team.
Joey, the backup optimist, says, I think it's a bit of an overpay. And here's the thing: if you think your team overpaid by a bit, it's probably a good deal. Because you always
we'll take a slight overpay.
Yeah, you always value your own pieces more than other teams probably will.
It's always sad to see someone go.
Yeah,
whether it's someone who sucks or who's good.
Yeah.
Number 15 on Frank's list is James Van Riemsdyk. Yeah, probably not. I like that he goes to the net. I like that he still moves
but he's
good.
Zach Hyman is
but he's a right winger.
JVR on steroids.
He's a right winger.
Who?
JVR. He might look good on the right side.
Hyman shoots right.
I know.
Well,
yeah, you could flip him over. It might be redundant, but
Hyman should play the right side.
Yeah, that could.
Anyways,
I know he's made. I think the numbers say he's not quite as good there, but
I know,
that's
interesting. I love it.
That's 11 through 15.
They'd have to retain a crap ton of money on.
You'd have to get a third team involved. the funniest thing ever is seeing JT Miller on this list. I said this today. I did say it off the air to someone, but I said, man, who says no? JT Miller for Jonathan Huberdeau. Like, just you both get a redo. We both are mad about this. Gone.
Oh, I bet you Calgary would say, yeah.
I think they would. I think both would. I bet Vancouver would say no if I had to pick.
Because they have to pay more money.
Well, no, because they get the worst player.
But you get the guy who
maybe retain $1 million.
Maybe.
And then you even it out. Say one team, the other team retains $1 million to even out the money.
But like the Canucks, I don't think are happy. And so the thing with Miller is that he has a no movement clause or no trade clause. He'd go to Calgary. He has a no trade clause.
Daryl Sutter guy if he's that fiery.
That kicks in July.
Ooh.
Right when his new deal kicks in, right?
Also, it's not there right now.
It's not there. So they could trade him anywhere now, but come July, they can't move him anywhere. So that is why the Canucks, maybe if they're willing to just say, okay, we're done. We're just going to cut him loose. The question for a team acquiring him, I guess, would be, is that a contract you would have given Miller if he was a free agent this summer?
They had 100 points.
This year,
very close.
This year he doesn't, but it's an $8 million
deal.
That's
what it was based off of. Like, he's got that ability. Put him in the right circumstance. I'm not saying, I don't know if I agree. I don't know if he's a good person or not, because this season's been a bad look for him, but like, he can produce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many points does he have this season?
JT Miller is, I will double check that for you. He's having a down year compared to last season. He's got 52 points in 87 games. So it's down a bit.
87 games?
Sorry, 57 games.
Whoa.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. Hey?
That would be nuts.
If he's played more than the entire NHL. So JT Miller's at 16. Alex Kerfoot, cap dump. Oilers aren't looking at him at 17.
No, don't help the Leafs.
Kasperi Kapanen, cap dump.
No.
Oilers aren't looking at him. Frank actually thinks that's the guy who could be the next trade, is the Pens getting rid of him because they want to activate Jan Ruda. 18 is Jesse Puljujarvi. Interesting, he's in the top 20.
Sure.
Yep. Again, probably a guy I think the Oilers toss into a deal to make money work, or they trade somewhere for a mid-round pick so they can make another deal that makes the money work. Joel Farabee comes in at number 20 on the list, 22 years old. May have been a healthy scratch when the Oilers played the Flyers if Konechny didn't get hurt the night before. He's been playing fourth-line minutes. Frank said there's not like a trade request in, but there's maybe some interest from everyone involved to move on from him, even though he's
okay, so where does he stack up normally? Is he a third-line guy?
Like middle 6'4".
I think he would be, like, he had that
size. What's his size?
He had
size and his money.
One year. He had that 1 year where he was just unreal, and he's only 22.
Fun last name, so I'm
yeah. 20 goals in 57 games a couple years ago, 17 and 63 the year before that, but just 9 so far this season. You want to see his size? He's 6 foot, 183 pounds, and he's on a long-term deal, 6-7 more years at $5 million a year.
Oh, yeah,
probably not worth adding another $5 million winger. Sorry, Joel. You're staying in Philly or going anywhere but Edmonton. Number 21 through 25 on Frank's list as we continue this absolute marathon. We should probably pick up the pace at some point as well. Jordan Greenway, no. I like his size.
No,
but
no, he's useless.
That's about it.
His size, yeah. He doesn't have anything else.
Yep. Klim Kostin's better. Shane Gostisbehere is, if you miss on, if we get Gostisbehere, then we have missed on a lot of big things. And so if we get him, that is a bad sign. It's a bad sign. To me, the path to Shane Gostisbehere is...
because he's Tyson Barrie. Why do we don't need more Tyson Barries? We already got Tyson Barrie.
Did you see the pass that Cody Ceci threw to Philip Broberg the other day?
Yeah, so go figure. Gostisbehere isn't your answer.
Is he a righty?
He's a lefty. Okay. But he can move the puck. Don't you want puck movers?
Well, Tyson Barrie can move the puck.
I know, but you know
Darnell Nurse should be able to move the puck.
You know what McDavid and Draisaitl said the other day? They want more puck movers.
I know, which is mind-blowing because we're actually on paper have puck movers, so that's an issue.
On paper, we probably have 4 puck movers on the blue line.
Yeah, weird.
I would say
Kulak
is a puck mover as well, solely because they literally play him in overtime, which would indicate to me that they believe he has some offensive instincts.
And he skates well, and he likes jumping up. Like I really like Kulak. Sean in Calgary says Gostisbehere is Marc-Andre Bergeron.
We can't take Bergeron to the Stanley Cup final again.
Yeah, we healthy him game 1 of the Cup final when we get there. I think Gostisbehere is a break glass in case of emergency kind of ad.
Yeah, but it's a bad. That's the thing. If we end up getting him, it's a bad thing.
Yep,
like
probably
we screwed up, and now we're just settling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair.
And I don't like that. Like we need to be the leaders, the aggressors of trade deadline.
Gustav Nyquist, I like because you can LTIR him for the rest of the regular season. So that's a guy to just keep tabs on. I believe the Oilers probably.
But we need to be able to have room for him to LTIR him. Isn't that how that works?
Because what happened yesterday then with Shea Weber?
He doesn't go on LTIR. The Yotes don't LTIR any of them.
No, they don't, because they want him to be, because they pay $1 million a year to have 7.8 of cap space taken up. They're trying to spend to the floor.
Yeah.
So he's just on their active roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they have like $20 million on their active roster committed to Andrew Ladd, Shea Weber, and Brian Little. 18.6 mil.
Brian Little.
Yep.
Forgot about him.
They got one more year of Brian Little too. And they don't LTIR him because they want the cap space so they hit the floor.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So that it helps Arizona.
Yeah.
And now it helps Vegas too.
Yeah, because now they just moved, what is he, 10 million or whatever he was?
7.8 or something.
7.8. Okay.
If the Coyotes did not have the dead cap space they currently have, they would only be spending about $45 million, $46 million.
Oh, well, you have it.
Oh, yeah, about half.
So 10% of it's being paid to Jacob Churkin.
Yeah. And they're
Like
trying
that,
to get...
that's what like Connor McDavid makes essentially. Well, it's not, but he's like 12 and a half.
The Coyotes only have two players whose cap hits are more than $5 million. It's Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller. And Nick Schmaltz is a guy who we might talk about.
Schmaltz, I'm interested in.
Lawson Crow's 24. I think he's too expensive now.
I like the type of player, but yeah, what did they lock him up for? $4 million?
4.3 for 4 more years. It's too rich.
Too rich. Last year was the time to get him.
Jacob Verana,
Stop it.
I'm interested in because he can score. And I like the idea of just getting guys that can score. He's a lefty, so not a great fit. But if it was a deal where
his price tag is too much in terms of his contract.
I know, but just hear me out in terms of the thought process behind getting this guy. From a Red Wings perspective, he is a cap hit of $5.2 million.
Yeah.
There is talk they're just going to buy him out this summer.
Yeah.
So that means he would be knocked down to a cap hit of 1.4 and 1.9.
Yeah.
If the Wings say we don't want that extra year of 1.9, there's actually incentive for them to retain half his cap hit, I think.
Yeah, no, but we still have to take on $2.5 million or whatever.
2.6.
Yeah.
And you get a year and a bit of Verana. Would the Wings take Puljujarvi?
But
gives you an extra $400K.
But then we just used our Puljujarvi card to make room for Jacob Verana.
Yeah,
I think
that's fair.
I wouldn't want to move somebody of that level for another player of the exact same level.
Like it's like we don't. He's such like. Impact. It's such a like. I get what you're trying to do there. Like you'd almost like, but it's too risky. Given like this is something we're trying to do for this playoff run.
Yeah, I just think like
maybe in the off season, someone might do it. Like there is a guy. You're right. There's a guy that can score there. You're right, and he's hopefully kind of worked through his things. Yeah. But they brought him up and sent him back down again.
All right, we're gonna keep ripping through, going rapid fire style. It is a Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of the show. So shout out to our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant and their Ford Service Center. Free valet service pickup and drop off, or you can choose Ford Mobile Service to come to you. Over 51 service space. That's why you choose Sherwood Ford the Giant. Max Domi comes in next on your list. He wins draws. He's been handling top 6 minutes. He's been scoring a lot. That's not a bad guy to keep in mind.
50% would be 1.5 million.
Yeah.
You can make that work very easily.
I'm not opposed to it, but that means we've missed out on someone else again.
Well, that's where we're at with all of these names now, is you've missed out on
Tanner
guys.
Geno, I'm all in on that guy.
I worry about his ARB case, but I like him. Because his ARB case is going to be as a guy who scored 20 goals when he was young.
But you average.
I know. Yeah. It's Matt Dumba, probably good because he's just too expensive even at 50% retained.
Yeah.
Boston's looking to do some cap dumps so they can get Gavrikov. We can't help them out. Geno, we've talked about. We like Noah Gregor. I actually also like
another
number
former
30.
Moose Jaw Warrior, Noah Gregor.
Former Moose Jaw Warrior, a guy who's, I don't know, maybe fallen out of favor a little bit in San Jose.
He's fast.
I think he has.
Doesn't bring the physicality.
Mm-hmm.
But he's fast.
He's fast. He likes shooting the puck.
Can help kill penalties.
Can help you kill penalties.
Local guy.
$950K. So again, if you could convince San Jose, like, hey, keep half for the rest of this year. He's all of a sudden a pretty good asset to pick up now because he's going to be so
low
cheap.
Acquisition cost.
RFA Arbright's local boy. I think he's a guy.
I'm not opposed to it. Like that's a depth move. Like
it's a 4th round pick for Noah Gregor.
Yeah, but like that's like we've acquired 3 assets and we've like, okay, actually, you know what? We're gonna get a little bit deeper.
It's the last move of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it'd make his uncle happy.
People asking in the chat about Verana and why they sent him back down. It's so they could avoid waivers. Someone was asking us to go more in depth on Jordan Greenway. No, not really.
Why?
Like
There's not much there. He signed a big ticket and he's underperforming like crazy. He's just a big guy. I don't know if you remember this, but like
he has 3 goals.
Josh Archibald ended his life like 3 seasons ago. So like
2 more years.
Big guy, but like
2 more years, $3 million.
Just big. That's it.
Does have family in St. Albert?
Greenway?
Yeah.
Well, I hope they're not watching as we talk about them. Sorry.
Sorry.
Speaking of having family in St. Albert, number 31 on the list is Nick Bonino, another guy. If San Jose kept half, I'm in. He is not worth giving up anything more than a 3rd-round pick, though, for, in my opinion. He'd make their bottom 6 maybe a little bit more reliable.
He's responsible.
But is he not just Derek Ryan at this point? Probably. Do you need another Derek Ryan? Maybe you do.
Yeah, having 2 Derek Ryans doesn't hurt. And he's got a little bit more like size to him, a little bit more meat.
He does. Maybe, and he's been a playoff performer in the past, as we know with our guy Hunter Ryan Singh. So,
Garnet Hathaway, yes. Buzzsaw, let's go.
The comparable Frank used was a 2nd and a 3rd. Cali Yarncroc. Would you do it?
For Bonino?
No, for Hathaway.
2nd and a 3rd?
Yeah.
That's the acquisition cost, eh?
Potentially. That was Frank's comparable.
I would just go get Sam Lafferty if that's the market.
Yeah.
I like Lafferty.
Yeah, agreed. But I do like the tenacity of Hathaway.
Me too. I think it's a guy to keep an eye on for sure, but not a guy I'd pay a lot for. Nick Seeler is, how will I put this? Boy, if you think getting Luke Shen is bad, wait till they get Nick Seeler. If you think Shane Gostisbehere is bad, wait until you'll be wishing they got Shane Gostisbehere when the Oilers go get Nick Seeler.
So we're going to get Nick Seeler.
Probably. Jonas Corpusalo, don't need goalies. Jonathan Drouin is actually not that good in my opinion and is just bad Jacob Verana. Go get Verana if you want Drouin.
Yeah, fair.
All right, good. We are making some hay here on the list. Number 36, Karel Vejmelka. Oilers don't need a goalie.
Oh.
Who says no? Campbell for Vejmelka. Nick Bukestad coming in at number 37. He is, as our guy, I almost read the text I got instead of the chat. Tyler Mulick calls him Long Derek Ryan. If you want Nick Bukestad, maybe just go get Nick Bonino. Right?
But Bukestad's much cheaper.
Bukestad's cheaper. So, yeah.
Bigger Derek Ryan is not a bad thing.
No, it's not. And at $450K.
A fourth line that consists of a bunch of variations of Derek Ryan. Tall, big, thick, wide.
D cards. Did Tyler just say we don't need goalies? Well, like we've got to make our bed goaltending wise.
Yeah,
and Tyler made his long Derek Ryan comment. $450K, sure. The thing that where maybe Holland and Woodcroft will need to communicate, and I'm sure they will, is does Jay Woodcroft want to go 11-7 for the entire playoff run? Is that something he envisions himself doing?
Probably.
Because that changes, right? Like, you don't need Nick Bukestad if you're going 11-7 for a whole playoff run. Maybe as a depth add, if he costs you a 4th or 5th round pick, sure, he's Derek Brassard.
Is he an upgrade on Janmark?
No.
Okay.
So, there you go. Connor Garland, too expensive. The Kings are looking to trade Sean Walker, Matt Roy, probably so they can squeeze in Jacob Chychrun.
Probably not to us either.
Nils Hoglander is going to a rebuilding team, not a contender, because I don't think he helps you in a playoff run this year. There we go. We're through 40 names. Someone said, boy, this list is long. You're damn right it is.
Lars Eller, yes.
Lars Eller as part of a Dmitry Orlov package?
Yes, that would be, I would love Lars
I am
Eller.
worried that he doesn't have enough in the tank.
Fair, but man, just like veteran, smart, has won. Like if he's your 3rd line center, like not bad.
I might take Connor Sherry instead of a Lars Eller. If you got like an Orlov and they were like, hey, you can have.
Connor Sherry is tiny.
Yeah, he's small.
But he's also won 2 Stanley Cups. He'd be 1.5 million. Take it off.
On Sidney Crosby's team, yes.
Well, we have Connor McDavid.
Perfect. Lars Eller won with Ovechkin, who's like a good scorer, and that's it.
Calvian Bomber. I assume this stream ends sometime in the 3rd period tonight. Yeah, don't worry. No, we're almost done.
Well, that's what I would say. You're so long-winded about everyone. I'm just like, move on, bleedy-doo-doo-doo. But the guys you're passionate about, you want to talk about. I get it.
Lars
like
Eller.
You love Cal Foot.
No, I don't. I don't care about Cal Foot. Don't care about Cam Talbot right now, although we love him. Colin White doesn't do anything. Will Borgen doesn't do anything. But the Lars Eller thing to me, yes. Eller at 3.5 or Bonino at 2 mil. Which one's easier to get? Bonino at 2 is easier.
Yeah, but I'd want Lars Eller is better than Nick Bonino.
You think?
Yes.
I'll side with you on that one.
Andy.
Sure. Yeah, Lars Eller would be a guy who probably just makes you tougher to play against.
There's like offensive upside to him and just real responsible bottom 6 guy too.
He's struggled to score this year. I know,
but like the Caps suck. Like
he's got 7 goals.
It's like Patty Kane sucks, but like remove the last 2 games. Like the
goals.
Team sucks around him.
Bonino's outscored Eller this year.
That's fine.
Yeah. Bonino last year had 16 goals in 80 games. Year before that, 10 and 55. And Eller the last couple of seasons was 13 goals in 72 and 8 and 44. So Bonino's been consistently scoring a little bit more than Lars Eller, playing on a San Jose team that doesn't score a lot either. All right, we're on our last group of 5 here, Aaron. Fire those.
Oh, boy. Who do we got?
Are we? We are. Right winger Taylor Radish of the Chicago Blackhawks. This guy is scoring a lot this year. He's a guy who I thought was not having as good of a year as he is, quite honestly, a couple weeks ago. 758K. If the
For another year after this,
for another year. If the Hawks were willing to keep half, I think I would give up something decent for him.
A second?
I think so.
Yeah.
Just from the perspective of like having an asset like that at dirt cheap next season would help the Oilers so much.
Yeah. No, that's a this year and a next year thing.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it.
He's a better scoring Sam Lafferty who won't help you on the PK as much as my read on him, I think. Yeah. I think if I'm reading things right. So Jack Roslovic at 47, super expensive. Dmitry Kulikov at 48. I would take him over a lot of other guys on this list. Lump Radko Gudas in that conversation as well. I would take a lot of those two over some other names we've talked about. Like Kulikov probably calms you down and helps your issues more than Goss. More than Goss.
Like he has to be a secondary add to the first defensive add.
Or you spent so much on forwards that you have to check down on D and get Kulikov or Gudas. Which?
Yeah. Okay. I'll agree.
The last name on Frank's list is Sean Monahan, who is expensive. $6.375 million. You'd have to get it retained twice.
Yeah.
He is always injured.
Yeah, no.
But the idea...
Why are we even going?
Wait. The idea of him scoring big goals for us in a playoff series in the same year the Flames paid a first-round pick to get rid of him is a narrative I would like to see play out.
You know, I do love the BOA chaos it does create. I do agree with that, but I just think, like, where there is other fish in the sea at the moment.
Fair enough. Chris says, let's do a top 100. Aaron, fire up 51. No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine? We just kept going and get through like 300 players in the league. Don't stop. All right. We are running late today. It's a Sherwood Ford Giant game day. So let's get to our...
We haven't even done the betting yet.
Wait, we haven't even done our keys to victory yet. Keys to victory for our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant. I am going to step right up here and say... You need to get scoring chances. You need to be able to adapt in the offensive zone. Read what the Penguins are giving you. Find a way to get through it. You did not do that against Pittsburgh. Against Philly. This Penguins team is better than Philly.
Yeah.
You need to get through and generate quality scoring chances. That's the McDavid line. That's through whoever's playing on the fourth line tonight. You need to be hard to play against in the offensive zone because we just didn't see that against Philly. Show me you got it. And also, play desperate is my second one because this is a team fighting for their playoff lives. You, to some extent, are as well. Play desperate, get good scoring chances.
I like the play desperate mantra because we do have to come in and play desperate. We have to have our road legs. We have to show up on time and, like I said, skate these guys into the ground and create chances because they've lost 3 in a row. They're fighting for a playoff spot. So they're going to be hungry. We just have to be hungrier. Skip lunch.
We're going to get to Liam. We're going to get to Liam, but first, if you're watching on the Nation Network YouTube, hammer the like button because we are almost at 100 likes on the show. Liam, your key to victory, Oilers Pens.
My key to victory, I'd like to see them dictate the game a little bit more and not get sucked into whatever Pittsburgh want to do. And also, don't make mistakes that lead to goals. I know that sounds very obvious.
Yeah, but like they're blatant mistakes. I know, so yeah, stop
so
those.
Obvious.
Gaff.
Like, both of them last game were from errors. So yeah, make it easy on Papa Stu tonight.
Make it easy on Papa Stu. Someone said the key to victory is Stuart Skinner scoring. Maynard says it's a Josh Archibald revenge game.
Oh, no.
Tyson predicts a 6-0 victory. and we still haven't hit 100 likes. So please hammer that like button. All right, let's get to our Betway bets for this evening. Give us that graphic. Let's see the standings. Everyone was wrong again last game. Everyone gets a loss. Everyone drops a unit.
No, I got it right.
I was so close. Nuge hit that post at the end. That would have gotten me the -2.5.
Yeah. And I actually bet the -2.5 with you.
Oh, I love it.
But I did a really sneaky live bet last game where when they were down heading into the third, I live bet them to win. And then also as like a little insurance hedge, I did get +120 on the third period to be the Oilers' highest scoring of the game.
Oh, that's
so smart. I nailed them both because I was like, oh, if they tie it up and take the lead or whatever, I was just like, oh, the empty netter could maybe help me get that bet too. But anyways, it ended up working out for me. Tonight, I am eyeing up Zach Hyman and Leon Draisaitl to each get 4 shots because this bad boy is paying out +400, and I love that payout. Leon Draisaitl missed it last game, but was starting to rip the puck a ton. Zach Hyman hasn't...
Chasing the juice?
I am. For once, I'm chasing the juice. Zach Hyman hasn't done this for a while, but I think it's a good bounce back spot for both of these guys. Rip pucks on net. All you need is 4 shots, and I'm getting +400. I'm in on that bad boy. Liam, what do you like?
Draisaitl goal.
Okay.
So no one's cheering for the Oilers to win, I see.
But Draisaitl goal, any reason, or you're just throwing a dart at a dartboard here?
Because he can score lots of goals, and he has 4 in 4 straight.
5 straight.
5 straight.
He's heating up.
Jay?
Smoking.
Well, I go into Betway to look and peruse what my options are for the game, and they just have this beautiful boost where it's Oilers money line and Connor to score at 3.5 to 1.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. I win that. That'll make a dent in the old negative unit tally.
It would bring you
like I'm chasing it. Like it's so funny.
You need a heater.
Well, I'm the optimist. I'm always have Oilers to win with my bets.
Yeah.
And just so happens they decide to blow leads and lose shootouts while we start this new segment. So it's been a grind, but at some point I'm going to start popping off and climbing out of here.
Some point,
like
you're due to get something right.
You can guarantee they'll win tonight.
But when the Oilers going to roll, like I will roll.
You're gonna be up there with us.
I'm gonna roll, but they're not winning right now. I know they won last game, but I needed them to win by 3.
Fair enough.
And they should have against Philly.
Betway 18 plus, please play responsibly. The Sports Closet Studio, you can be of any age to go hit them up. Sherwood Park Mall, St. Albert Mall, Kingsway Mall as well. It's a Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition.
Get your Gostisbehere jersey there. Order today.
Boy, wouldn't that be something? Hope you all enjoyed our very extensive breakdown.
It's happening. We're going to get Gostisbehere.
We almost had 1,000 different people pop into the show at different points today.
Amazing. Well, thank you for putting up with this marathon. Wow, it's been an hour.
Yeah, we almost did a full hour-long stream. We got a new episode of Real Life coming up this afternoon. The content never stops. It's deadline season. dailyfaceoff.com, Oilersnation.com. If you just always have those 2 windows open, you won't miss anything. You'll be covered on the Oilers and the entire NHL. Could Patty Kane be dealt by tomorrow's show? I don't know. Could the Oilers have a 2-game winning streak by tomorrow's show?
I hope he doesn't become a Ranger.
Hopefully. Enjoy the game tonight, everybody. We'll chat Friday, noon Mountain Time.